Time is 7 o'clock on May 2nd, Varied City Development Review Board meeting. 1, 2. We do have a quorum.
Colin is online.
Oh, Colin is in there, good. Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Good, thank you. Okay, just for the record, Katrina, Kendall, Sarah, Linda, Jamie, Krista, and Colin is on Zoom. We do have a quorum. Just want to notify you or advise you that anyone who is here to testify on these applications will need to sign in. You've done that, good. You'll also be asked to, you will be sworn in and asked to raise your right hand at the appropriate time. Those who are on Zoom should remain on mute. And when you have something you wish to say, if you would raise your hand, and you will be acknowledged and called upon at the appropriate time. Thank you. And those who are here present for the meeting, when we ask for a motion or a second, please raise your hand. And the same with someone who wishes to second it.
Is Colin raising his hand?
I'm
No.
sorry.
No, that's the mouse.
Oh, that's the mouse.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
well, I thought the same thing, and then I realized what she was doing. Okay. Adjustments to the agenda. Do you have anything to adjust to the agenda?
I personally do not.
All right. Go ahead, Sarah.
I would recommend moving the discussion of consideration of DRB operational bylaws to between number 6 and 7 in the interest of our applicants' time.
That makes sense. Is everybody in favor of that?
Certainly.
Okay, thank you. So moved. Okay. I would like to add after that, just a couple things to address under other business. And one of them would be absences, people needing to notify the board or Michelle if they're going to be absent. And then I just want to reemphasize, which I don't think I need to do now, the raising of the hands and trying not to interrupt each other. Okay, visitors and communications. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak to anything that isn't on the agenda? Mr. McDonald?
That's actually Mark Brown.
Pardon?
That's actually Mark Brown.
Oh,
Just so you know.
Oh,
okay.
what?
The one who's the Quinn McDonough, that's actually Mark.
Oh,
Okay.
oh.
Just signed in under somebody else's
Oh,
name.
okay. Oh, thank you. I wondered who that was. And Ruben Stone, I noticed, is on the application, so we're fine there. Okay, old business, before we get to new business. Consideration of the minutes from April 4th, 2024 hearing. Do I have a motion on that? Krista, could you just state we have to state the motion
I move to approve the minutes.
as is.
As is.
Okay. Is there a second?
second it.
Kendall, okay. Did you get that,
Beat me to it,
Michelle?
Kendall.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The minutes of that meeting are approved. Secondly would be the notice of decision for the April 4th Development Review Board meeting. Is there a motion on that? Sarah?
I would make a motion to approve the decision from the April meeting.
Is there a second on that?
Would second that.
Christina? You, okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, the minutes are approved for the meeting. We will proceed to the new business. First one is Summer Street whoops, I'm sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
I was gonna, if I may, make a motion to enter into the first hearing.
The first hearing, okay. Motion made by Sarah to enter into the first hearing on the agenda. Second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Or raise your hand. Those opposed? Hearing none, we will proceed with the new business. Summer Street Holdings LLC, 16 Merchant Street, seeks conditional use for partial demolition of commercial building, design review overlay, UC-2 zoning district. And are you here to speak on this one? Okay, and would you just stand, raise your right hand, and state your name for the record? Thank you. You swear the testimony you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. If you would just have a seat up here, please. And I would ask you to speak up a little bit, because sometimes it is difficult here in this room as well as for the folks on Zoom. Thank you. We do have your application, but if there's anything you'd like to add to that or expand on?
I guess if there's any questions, I guess I can
Okay, you're comfortable with what you presented. Okay, Mr. Stone, does he wish, Mr. Stone, do you wish to present any testimony in this
Just doing the first.
application? Oh, he
The
is?
second one?
Oh, he is, I got him reversed,
With the
okay.
other.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Never mind.
Sarah,
No
thank
worries,
you, I had
no
them
worries.
reversed. Okay, before we take any questions from the board or comments, Michelle, is there anything that needs to be read into the record? Okay, thank you. Okay, we will start with Sarah.
I don't have any, no, I don't have any questions. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay, Krista.
I have no questions either.
Let me see who, Jamie?
Yeah, the only question I had was whether or not the laundromat was in the building already, in that portion of building that's being retained?
No, it's not. So the part of the building that we're shooting, which is approximately 18 feet by 18 feet, could host either another tenant or it could host laundry for the tenants of the building of the other.
like a laundry
room. It's not a laundromat for anybody. It's not a public laundromat. And it would also store any storage we'd have for snowblowers or whatever. So it's not a separate, business or anything like that. It's for the facility.
Okay.
All set? Kendall?
No questions.
No questions. Katrina?
No questions.
No questions. Colin, do you have any questions or comments you'd like to make?
No, I do not. This seems pretty straightforward.
Okay, thank you. Pretty quick one for you.
Kristen, did you?
Yeah,
Sorry.
she went
Sorry,
first.
my bad.
Oh, yeah, your problem. The board will go into a deliberative session and make a decision, and you will be notified by letter within a week, or you can call Michelle in the morning to get the decision of the board. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Okay. We will now close out that portion of the new business, the Summer Street Holdings LLC, and move on to what?
To do the motion.
Yeah, and entertain a motion to proceed with the second item on the agenda. Is there a motion to do so?
I do.
Oh, I think Kendall
Doesn't matter.
raised his hand first. Okay,
I'll second it.
you'll second it, all right, thank you. We have a motion to proceed with the second applicant on the new business. By Kendall making the motion and Jamie seconding it. Is there all those in favor of proceedings? Those opposed? Hearing none, we will proceed then as, okay, now if I get the right one here. Okay, and we have who's speaking on behalf of this application?
I can speak on behalf of Ruben and I. That's fine.
Um,
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, that's better, yes, thank you. And could you state your name, please?
Absolutely. Yeah. Sorry for the confusion. I'm using my wife's computer.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. yeah.
okay. You did
yeah,
confuse us.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I'm Mark Browning.
Mark Quinn, okay, okay. And I will need you to raise your right hand. What?
Ruben's on this one too.
What?
Ruben is on this one too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do him after. Oh, Mark Browning, did he say Mark Browning? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to present is the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and you, sir, I understand you're here to speak on behalf of this application as well? Mr. Stone? Is it,
Yes, I am. Yep.
okay, and would you please state your name for the record
Yes, it's Ruben Stone.
and raise your right hand? You swear the testimony you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do. Thank you. Okay, we can proceed with you, Mr. Browning, if you would like to comment on or add to the application before us at this time.
Sure. Yeah, I assume everyone got our copy of our application and our description of what we're proposing to do. Yeah, so we currently own the Miles Block building directly to the left of the old Coins and Hobbies property. And our goal is we purchased the Coins and Hobbies building maybe about a year ago. And our goal is to kind of replicate the look of the Miles Block building on the Coins and Hobbies building, which if you guys have seen is pretty dilapidated, and we're looking to just freshen it up and make it look a little bit more presentable for our downtown. So I can just open that up to any questions if anyone has any questions about it.
Okay. Do you think we should question? Your testimony and,
Yeah, I would do that.
okay. Okay, then we'll ask you, Mr. Stone, if you have anything that you would like to add to the application?
No, I think it's pretty comprehensive the way we presented it, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before I ask the board for any questions, again, Michelle, is there anything to be read into the record? Everything was received, okay, thank you. Questions from the board? Colin?
I don't have any questions about this. The application
questions.
was, the application was pretty thorough.
Thank you. Katrina?
The only question I have is a little confusion on page 3, the illustration of the proposed facade. And on the third page of your application, where the photograph is of the existing appearance, there is something about a brick facade being added. That's not in this picture at all.
No, I think this was just a rendition, but I think they explained previously, but go ahead and,
Just let me explain. So when the application first came in, that was their first rendering. And then there was discussion with the Historical Society, and this is what they came down
Rendering
with.
number 2.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you.
but you still are planning for the brick? No? Okay,
brick.
just as it is, okay, just as this is presented. Okay, thank you. It's Kendall.
I have no questions.
Jamie?
No, assuming I understood, Michelle, that their historical society or your preservation committee worked with them on this design? Okay, then I have no questions.
Well, let me clarify that. They were influential. They
Okay.
tried to help them with different things and make connections and things like that.
Thank you.
Okay, Krista?
No, Katrina covered my question.
Sarah?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay. Okay, the board will go into deliberative session and make a decision on this application, and you will be notified by letter within a week, or you can call Michelle tomorrow if you wish to be notified of the decision of the board. We thank you for being here.
Thank you for your time, guys. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I entertain a motion to go out of this new business application. Sarah?
Motion to close the hearing?
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Krista. Sir, you can, okay, thank you. Thank you, sorry about that.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Krista has seconded the motion. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Hearing none, then the motion to go out of the hearing for this application. Let's see. Motion to close. Yeah, right, yeah. I now will, entertaining an awful lot of motions here.
I motion to go into deliberative session.
Thank you. Okay, Krista makes the motion to go into deliberative session. Is there a second? Sarah will second that. Those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous, and
Pause the
all those
recording.
opposed? So we will go into deliberative session about 7:15, and if you would stay with us, Michelle, and stop the recording. We will now go out of deliberative session approximately 7:20 PM. Okay. Any further discussion in respect to these two applications? Hearing none, then I would entertain a motion on the first application for Summer Street Holdings. Motion?
I would make a motion to approve the application as presented, with the condition that the decision that the zoning administrator be allowed to approve any immaterial or non-substantial changes to the site plan without having to come back before the DRB for revision.
The motion has been made. Do we have a second on that one? The motion as presented, okay. All those in favor, say aye, raise your hand. Opposed, hearing none. Thank you, Colin. Then the application is approved unanimously. We'll go to the second one, 168 North Main Street. Is there any further discussion on that? No? Okay. You make motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the approve the application as is with the condition that the zoning administrator be allowed to approve any immaterial or non-substantial changes without coming back to the DRB.
Okay. Jamie has made a motion to accept the application as presented with the added condition. Is there a second on that? Thank you, Katrina. All those in favor?
Aye.
And thank you. The motion passes unanimously. Okay.
Okay, now the other thing.
Okay, we will move on to what was under old business, consideration of DRB operational bylaws. Katrina, do you have any comments in respect to that?
No, just, I am curious in the history. Is it basically to have all the board rules be consistent across the city boards? Does that mean that all the city boards have the same number of members?
That was a different, there was an addition of 3 alternate members.
Okay. So there, other boards have 9 members?
Well, we do have,
Hopefully.
we do have 2 at-large members on this board, but this is to add 3 alternate members in the event that, we did a similar thing with the parole board. In the event that the full-time members can't be present or absent, we can have the alternates fill in, so that we can hopefully ensure somewhat of a
Okay.
quorum.
So basically, the board, this is a revision of bylaws still for our board, but with a lot of corrections to not have, say, DRB
Yeah.
throughout it.
I think it was because these are the bylaws for the Development Review Board, and it was just kind of repetitious to
Yeah,
repeat that.
got it.
So it wasn't really necessary.
Yep.
Kendall, do you have any comments?
I have no comments.
Sarah?
So in addition to the 3 alternates, 1 from each ward, this would remove the 7 o'clock time, allowing us to pick any time we want. It looks like, is that correct?
Yeah, that was
As
the question
long-
I had too, yeah.
As long as
Where's that?
the meeting is warned and with the correct time.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
And then also the additional language on page 3, number 7. In the course of 6 consecutive calendar months, is somebody who's absent for 40% or more of the total meetings, we could replace them, which I think is good. The other thing, just very nitpicky maybe, on page 4, Number 6 says each board member, and then number 7 says if a member, and I'm wondering if we should just put board member in there as well.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
And then the numbering, she stopped renumbering after 9. So I believe 8 should be 10, the old 8 should be 10, and the old 9 should be 11.
Good catch.
So,
Repeat
Are
it.
there, are
So
there
the-
other situations where it just says member instead of board member? I'm seeing a couple
Colin,
elsewhere.
could you hold on just a second, please? Colin, thank you. Go ahead.
yeah, so on page 4, the old number 8 should be number 10, and the old number 9 should be number 11.
Okay, Colin, go ahead.
I was just piggybacking on what Sarah said. There's several other, it just says members elsewhere in the bylaws. Should we be changing all of that to board members?
I would say if it pertains to, if it's pertaining to a board member, I think we should add board and
Add
make
board
it,
too.
make it consistent.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you know where exactly those are?
Page 3, item 6, part A, whenever a regular member is recused. Part B, alternate member. I mean, I'm sure
Oh,
I'm sure it is elsewhere as well. I haven't gone
Page
through it
3.
with a highlighter yet. But
Yep.
Yep. Thank you for picking up on that.
I have another,
I do as
oh, wait,
well.
my turn. I have another question.
Okay, just a second. Let me ask the others first before you proceed. Jamie,
No, she asked the question I was going to ask about, which was removing someone who's been absent. So, yeah, this seems pretty clear, other than that.
Krista,
There's a lot of places where board
I'm
should be
sorry?
added. I said there's a lot of places where board should be added,
yeah, I know.
or members, so.
Yeah, you might want to screen that a little and just pick up on that. That would be good
Yeah, it's
before it's finalized. I mean, it's hard to have picked up on all of those.
Yeah, I mean, rather than sit here and
Yeah,
say
and
here
pick
and here and
nitpick
here.
it, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Keep your eyes to move over stuff.
The only thing I wondered how the board felt about was not stating a time. I'm just wondering if that would create confusion. Because we can always change the time of the meeting if something comes up. And so I don't know how the board members feel about that. I think it would be too vague if we just left it without a time.
If we leave a time, then do we have to change this every time we want to change the time of the meeting?
No, we would have to then, even if there was a special circumstance.
So I think the reason why she's allowing that in there is so that you have the ability to change the time without having to go against the bylaws.
Okay.
So, and maybe, all right, so the-
Thank you. That's why I kind of wanted the discussion to just make sure that that's a good point. Sarah?
I was just gonna say, I think it's a good idea to take it out, for the reason Michelle stated, but also, you know, in the summertime, I think it makes sense to have our meetings a little bit later, because the days are just longer, and then in the winter months, it might be better to meet a little earlier, so long as it works for our applicants.
The
I
only,
know we've had the discussion about, you know, the 6:30 time, and we just haven't gotten there yet, so.
well, again, I wondered if, so Krista wants a meeting at 6:30, and I think, well, maybe we should have it at 7, or maybe you should have it at 8. I understand where you're coming from, I really do, but I just think that we'd have to poll all the members every time to see what kind of time we wanted to start the meetings.
That was gonna be my question is, so if we are gonna remove it, then I would suggest having something on the agenda every week to discuss what time we'll have the next one. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. We could do it at that time. And then we would just have to stick with it. I mean, somebody couldn't call and say, well, so that isn't convenient for me. I want it now to be blah, blah. So that's a good suggestion. We'll put it on the meeting agenda and then Christina, I think.
I was thinking for Michelle's sake, she's dealing with these applicants. She should be able to tell them what time to show up that first Thursday. I suppose, well, maybe 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, no, I think putting it on the meeting agenda for the next meeting is a good way to handle that. Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Michelle if it was pretty easy or cumbersome to have to update our website to reflect the new times after a meeting. So we've got the DRB section of the Barre website. Would that be a pain in the butt to have to change the time every week on that?
Honestly, I can't do that. I don't have access to change the website. I have to ask somebody else to go in. I guess I didn't realize that the time was posted on the website, but it makes sense. The time is also posted on the agenda, but if you go in and look at the general information, if it is there, then that would be a little different to change, yes?
I think I would want to hold off a vote personally on that until we know if it's going to be a pain in the butt for the staff to have to change all that stuff. I don't know.
I don't think it will be.
You don't think so?
I mean, if they just changed
No,
it. to say
I have a
refer to
feeling, it's just
agenda.
my feeling, that we probably would be fairly consistent
Okay, well-
with the starting time. I think if there's any inconsistency, it would be in the winter.
Okay, all right.
Summer and winter.
I mean, I would almost say change the website to say, for start time, please see the
Minutes?
course, the correct
The notice in the
Month's
paper,
minute.
warning of the
or the
meeting.
the warning.
Yeah,
That could work.
yeah.
Or
that-
agenda,
That
yeah.
should work.
Yeah, because that always gets posted pretty much in advance, and if we're going to decide on the time for the next meeting at the previous meeting, then Michelle will be able to have plenty of time to inform applicants of what that will be. The only thing that I see as a something to think about, I guess, is there have been months where we don't have a hearing. So if in, say, May, we decide that our June meeting is going to be at X time, and then we don't have a June meeting, does that then roll over to the August meeting?
That would probably be the easiest way.
And
I would say we ought to just do that.
so not assign it to a specific month, but the next meeting will be at,
Right. Yes.
so just to keep that in mind.
Now, we have at times, Thursday ends up being the 4th of July or something like that. We have made discretionary changes to other dates. Is that language incorporated in this?
Well, I know in the past, it's just been discussed
Yeah.
that, does the board want to meet on that day? And if not, then we make a decision, and the staff usually says, sets a date for the next meeting. And I don't know how other boards or the council or anybody else reacts to the, a scheduled holiday or shutdown. So I guess we can cross that bridge when we get to it.
Well,
I
and
mean, and
this-
follow
this-
suit with the others.
This year, the 4th is on the first Thursday.
Yeah, I think that's what she was,
So,
that's what she was
It did
saying. That's why she
last
year.
wondered.
Yeah.
It did last year too, as I recall.
and this might be getting ahead of myself here, but being that it's May and we only have one meeting before July, which we're hoping will happen, but there's a lot of times that things happen and it gets canceled. So would it be wise to, after we complete this, to then make a decision on when that July hearing will be held?
Probably.
We can do
Yeah.
that. As long as people are aware of when their vacations and stuff are, but yeah, we can do that.
Well, I mean, because it would probably just be the next Thursday, right?
I would think so.
No? Maybe not?
It must conflict with,
Yeah, see, this is a vacation time too, so we're not gonna get everybody to agree on a date.
You always have your first choice, second choice kind of thing.
I have no calendar with me.
I think I would tend to wait, to get a little closer to just see where we are on that. We can always discuss it. If we have a meeting in June, if we don't, then we're gonna have to make the decision some other way. But
Can you make
too far in the
decisions?
future to worry about right now.
I'm a planner.
I know, but it'll be here before you know it as well.
Yeah.
Krista, did you have a comment? No? Okay, Jamie, go ahead.
Can you make decisions like setting a time via an email chain, or does it have to be a formal meeting?
That's a really good question, I don't have the answer to.
I think if it's not in our bylaws for a specific time, how we decide on that time, I think can vary. There's no specific way that has to be decided. And I guess, Michelle, if you would just double check with Janet on that, I'm pretty sure that we just need to be able to warn the meeting for the correct time. I think that's the only requirement. And how the decision of what time that will be, I think is up to us.
Get all that?
Yes, I can.
Katrina's got her hand up.
I have two
Okay,
questions.
sure, go ahead.
Were we expecting to be able to act on this fully today, tonight, or can we fine tune it again, or?
I think she probably should readjust what the things that have been brought up tonight and issue a new one that we can.
So are
consider
you
the
making a
next-
motion to table this vote until next
I have
meeting?
another question, but yeah. You can make that motion, you're good at motions. But before, I'd like to ask, on page 2, my question is, if we're talking about 9 regular members and 3 alternates, are the alternates also considered board members? Or are they just warm bodies listening?
Well, they're alternates to the board as similar to the at-large ones. But they'd have to be appointed by the city council, just as a board member would be. So, yeah, they'd be a citizen, expectedly be
So
a
it's all
citizen.
of the content here where we talked about board members, the alternates are considered board members.
They would be.
Even though they're non-voting.
Well, no, they would vote. If they had to fill in to,
If they were filling in.
if they were filling in, yes, they would vote, because they would be filling in for a full-time or an at-large member. Yes.
So only alternates can fill in for at-large members as opposed to people that are designated for specific boards?
I would say so, yes.
Is that in here?
Well, I think it's a given. I mean, they're going to be treated, they just have a different title.
Yeah.
They'll be treated the same as, an at-large member. I won't comment on it. I just know that we had a great deal of problems when we had alternate members to the parole board. Parole board's a little bit different in that it's a very, specialized field. And to have, you almost have to have continuity, if you will, with the cases that should come before you. And if you have somebody who comes in, every 6 months or once a year, and they're not really required to have the experience, it becomes a real problem. And secondly, I think that we're having enough trouble getting full-time members and at-large members. And I guess I'm concerned as to why we think we're going to attract alternate members who may or may not ever serve on the board. I kind of think it's a bad idea. I didn't like it in the beginning when Janet proposed it, and I guess I let her know. But, I'm open to discussion on that one because I don't like it personally. Sarah, you had your hand up.
I tend to agree. I think, if we can fill alternate spots, why can't we fill the vacant spots? And the consistency of who's showing up, I think the intention of this was to have somebody available if a board member were not able to attend because we have had issues with meeting a quorum. We dealt with that last year with the meltdown, and it
Right.
really
It
broke
was-
my heart.
It did me too, yeah.
And it looks bad on the city. So I'm sure that's the intention, but I think you're right. It does create some other challenges. So we're basically just trading one challenge for another challenge. So I'm not sure it really solves the problem.
And I think the continuity of members is important because even though each case is judged on its own, we often do get experience from previous ones that we've considered, or we've been there before, you know, so continuity, I think, is very important to me on this type of board. So I don't know what we would do in that event. Would we just ask for a revision or table this?
I noticed
or-
on page 3 of 9, number 6, does talk about alternate members being appointed to temporarily serve. And it's not, there's no reference to it being only at-large members. It's just any member that can't make it.
Yeah,
And it's
Just
and it's
eliminate
really
that
appears to be at
alternate.
the discretion of the chairman of the board.
yeah, I think it's an easy fix as far as correcting the bylaws. And as long as everyone is in agreement with that. I guess you sort of indicated that you might want to table this at this time. And allow,
Jared might benefit from being tabled.
The alternate thing has a lot of questions.
yeah. Okay, should we entertain a motion then to table this for the next meeting or, yeah, for the next
Seems
meeting?
prudent. Were you going to say something, Sarah?
I would love to offer a friendly amendment to your motion, to ask the staff to go through and make sure that the board piece is put in where it's supposed to be for board member. Do we need, I don't know if we need to include that in the motion, but to kind of revise this draft with some of the proposed changes that we've already made. And then I'm sort of debating whether or not to add, taking out that alternate piece. What do you think?
Well, I guess.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Yeah, I mean, how do the board members feel about that piece of it?
I'm looking at the lady to your right.
I'm sorry?
Oh,
I was just going to ask, do we have other boards that successfully have alternates? And how did that work? And like, are there best practices? Because like, it seems like this would be more kind of a pain in the butt than it is a solution.
It is, yeah. I don't think they do. I mean, I'm not an expert on other boards, but I have not heard of any other board having the alternates.
Okay, so there's no best practices.
Yeah. I think that it might have been brought up because at that time, we were having a real difficult time even meeting a quorum. So I think Janet thought, well, you know, but again, if we can't get full-time members or at-large members, I don't know who's going to volunteer to be an alternate. But anyway, I think that's the reason it came up. But it is an added layer of,
And then if you have
You're
more,
wrong.
if some miracle came that you have more than one alternate member, then like, how do you decide? Like, it's like, oh God.
yeah, exactly. You've got 3 alternates and the positions are all filled, and who do you choose to, you fill in this time or you fill in that?
Well, I think you would do it as, you'd have a first alternate, a second alternate,
third
and a third alternate. So
You'd have to designate that though, because we didn't when we
Yep.
were on the parole board. And some noses were out of joint when they weren't picked on occasion, and you know, so there's enough politics involved without making it worse.
right. So
Okay, so let's have a discussion on it in respect to whether we want to ask to add to the amendment to the motion to clarify or eliminate or expand on or do whatever with that alternate section.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
well.
Well,
Well, no, I'm,
no, you go ahead.
okay.
Or Kendall, if you've got a comment on it, go ahead.
I think we should do away with the alternates.
Okay, all right, how about you, Krista?
Yeah, I'm for doing away with it.
Doing away with
Jamie.
it.
No alternates. No alternate.
Can't get a full house, why be having
Yeah.
spare parts?
Okay. So add to your amendment to the
Collins?
motion.
Yes,
Oh, Colin, I'm sorry, I just really do
Colin.
forget the people on Zoom,
Yeah,
and I
Colin.
apologize for that.
That's
What are
fine.
your feelings in respect to the amendments to this bylaws that's been talked about?
So as far as the alternates go, I agree. I think you guys raise compelling arguments as to not have alternates. While I understand why Janet might want them and why it might be fair to applicants to have them, I just don't see a compelling need to change things. Are we fully staffed as a board as it is?
No,
Okay, yeah, so that's
One
all. we're-
one vacancy, the at-large vacancy.
Recruit,
Yeah.
recruit.
I mean, I guess if we really felt alternates were important, then we should be looking to perhaps other people already involved in the city, who are used to taking up some evenings out of the week, and seem to have a vested interest in participating. But I just see a lot of logistical challenges to bringing an alternate on, unless it's gonna be like an alternate juror and they're just sitting there every meeting and not doing anything. How do we bring that alternate on if needed, with probably not much advance notice? So I agree. And are we still talking about the start time thing, or are we done with that?
You
Still
can,
talking about what?
Start time.
Start time.
Oh,
Okay.
no, we're not. We are just going to leave that to be decided at the meeting before the next meeting on a time, but we guess pretty much in agreement that it'll be fairly consistent in the summer months and just vary perhaps in the winter. So,
You are going ahead with that change then?
but I think once, we can't do it now, obviously, because the bylaws aren't being approved, but, so I guess we're going to stick with the 7 o'clock meeting if we have one in May.
June.
So, and I also know that the city is actively trying to recruit members for all the boards. They've been advertising in the paper for it, and the Development Review Board is one of them that is advertising a at-large member. So we'll see what that draws. They're really having a hard time filling any of the boards in the city.
Is Planning Commission full?
The what?
I think
Planning
they're
Commission?
recruiting for at
No.
least
No, in
one or
fact, I think they
two.
got 2 vacancies on that. They can keep the vacancies. I wouldn't want to be on that board in my lifetime. Okay, go ahead and amend the motion
So-
to table this.
To restate your motion, if I may, Katrina is moving to table the vote on the bylaws until our next meeting and asking the staff to correct some of the changes that we've talked about and to remove the alternate board members from the proposal. Is that right?
Beautiful,
Yes, sounds good.
well stated.
Okay. And that's Katrina's
Got
motion.
that, Michelle? Okay. All right, then,
Am I allowed to second or
I'll
should
send
I?
it. I'll second that.
okay. Kendall is seconding that motion. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Are those opposed? Hearing none. The motion to table this is approved unanimously. Okay, now, I think we need a round table? Anybody have anything for a round table?
I thought you.
Colin, anything for a round table?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
I'd like to make a motion to go into other business. Had it between 6
Yeah, I
and
know.
7.
I actually think I already stated the reason for wanting to go into the other business. And I think it's covered now in the bylaws, so hopefully people will adhere to that. It is very important, while we do not have a full board, that anybody who cannot be present needs to notify Michelle. We almost did not have a quorum last month because we did not have everybody show up that was supposed to show up. So I'm just asking everybody, if you know you cannot attend, even if it's the last minute, just let Michelle know. So I don't think we really need the other business in that respect. But thank you
Okay,
for
you're welcome.
reminding me of it, because I'm the one that added it. Okay. Executive session?
Nope.
I don't think we need one. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't
second
ask for
it.
it
Sorry,
yet.
I'm sorry.
You don't jump the gun.
Sorry.
Motion to adjourn other than Sarah.
I motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you, Krista. Is there a second?
Yes.
Second it.
I think,
Was there a second? Did you,
Jamie.
I can do a second.
Okay, all right. Did you get that, Michelle? All those in favor, say aye, please. Raise your hand, Colin.
Aye.
Okay, then the meeting is to adjourn at approximately, you took your thing away from me, 7:48 PM. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Colin.
Thank you.
Recording stop. Bye.
Bye.
bye-bye.